Hee-haw! Gather veterans, it's time to join the fight. The long war begins in the mobile soup kitchen down in Texas.
Joining me once again is my partner in crime, Kenny Boucher.
Yo, dog, great to be here, man.
Yeah?
Sorry, talked over you.
You seem tired.
Yeah, I tried to take a nap today. I remain elusive and bullshit.
They are some bullshit.
That's some bullshit. They just make everything worse. And I only can take a nap when my body no longer allows me to function. Like
it just gives out.
Just gives out, dude. Yeah.
I used to try to take a nap before the show, but then that was stupid because then I want to do the show and then I just go to sleep. So I tried to take a nap longer before the show, and that just never happened because there's always so much to do.
Just get progressively grumpier and more fucking irritated. Like,
yeah,
40K Sue tuning in. She's got some premium nap advice. Her nap advice is followed. It's not hard. I do it every day.
I do it every day.
She does on a perfect schedule.
The key to a good nap is 90 minutes. That's the REM cycle.
That's what people say. It's nonsense.
No, it's real.
Know it's nonsense.
Oh no, it's not nonsense. It's real.
So I have to. You know how long I have to sleep to actually get 90 minutes of REM?
Well, that's the thing. Like you have to.
I have to sleep like
everybody's
I have
different.
to sleep like for 7 hours to sort of get that 90 minutes.
You got problems.
Yeah, man.
You need to fix that. You need to fix that,
bro. Like
you need to get you one of them smart beds to tell you what's up,
bro. According to my smartwatch, I fucking wake up 400 times a night. So,
you might have sleep apnea.
They say that. Some people keep telling me.
Sheesh.
I don't.
It's the sun.
I don't know, man. I've slept 5 hours a night for the last 12 years.
Yeah, I did that for a while too, and then I was like, man. I don't know why, but my body keeps growing. It's weird. I'm on like fourth puberties. I have to shave like almost every day now. I don't like it.
That's right. You finally grew up, man.
It's catching up to me, bro.
Carrick says you got to train to nap, and that's what it seems like. It's really nap training.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just terrible. I have like FOMO, dude. I have like being awake FOMO. Does that make sense?
Well, it's different. It's different when you're a small business owner, like everything's on you and you're always worried. You're like, what didn't I do? What didn't I should have done more today, blah, 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 blah. It's hard to punch a clock. It really is.
I'll punch a clock right now. Fuck a clock.
So I get that. Like you're always like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I should be doing something.
No, I heard that. So we got the last week's podcast out kind of late. Let's do my best not to have it be late again. Update to everyone in the community. Last week I boosted out of here to help Wyatt facilitate his move to the new recovery center, which he's been in for a week. And we might be looking to get him out back into the Beats Lab maybe as early as any time between tomorrow and Tuesday. It's kind of the window right now we're looking at.
You're gonna jailbreak him?
Yeah. Like there's a moment that once we get this result that we're looking for, we're fucking out of there, dude.
There you go.
You
doctors don't do nothing.
Nah, they're all talking this nonsense, dude. They're all like, oh, well, like you could be in here for like 2 weeks afterwards and we're going to do some physical therapy with you. Blah, 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 blah. Fucking Wyatt's like, yeah, that's not happening. Like, literally. Fucking out of
What, I mean, physical therapy is good. I mean,
they're dumb, though. They don't. The guy is a paraplegic, dude, and he already has been living by himself since 2007. Like, so it's all this nonsense, one size fits all medicine where they're like, we got to make sure you can do everything you can already, that you couldn't do before, all this dumb shit. It's like, bro, like, it's this has been his life for less like since 2007. So like they kind of like are looking at his charts and like getting the wrong information from them. You know what I mean? They're like, we're here to help you, you know, use a wheelchair and be living on your own for the first time. And it's like, thanks, dog.
Wow.
Like, think about that. It's like nonsense. And so, like, and nobody knows his story. That's the thing. So being there and helping out has been important. But it's you know, like it's not all been like irritation. Like he's coming along and everything's great. And we're just out. Like the priority is he's out. He gets out and we're out. Like he can do recovery. He has a wound care nurse. He can do recovery. He can do any other recovery from here. Not from a, you know, hospital prison cell, you know? So
Yeah.
it's been, he's a good, as good as spirits as you can assume from someone who's been trapped in a bed for the last, what, 3 weeks or something, or 2 weeks.
I mean, yeah, it's been a hot minute.
But we're looking good, man. I saw him this morning. You know, well, we played some Diablo last night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Kara Quinn, little known fact, you can just leave. It's precisely. Like, but like, we're not like, it's not like that. It's more like they don't know that like what we care about is the wound is healed and we leave, not this like specialist therapy guy coming in there and making us do a bunch of wheelchair tests. You know what I mean? Look,
Maybe are they just trying to like milk the VA money or what?
perhaps, but this place is highly recommended. Dude, it's really just like one size fits all. Like it's my protocol says this, and this is what I should do. And that's because in normal everyday scenario is that they're interacting with somebody who is like something has happened and now they're in a wheelchair. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not
That's
I live in a wheelchair and something happened. That's a different thing. It's completely different. And so
yeah.
I've seen Wyatt literally one arm pull up himself out of a wheelchair into a F-250. Like the dude's fine.
That's how you get bigger biceps.
Yeah.
Damn, I've been doing it wrong.
Like with his left arm, like his off arm.
His off arm, yeah. He's a beast.
And he's like as heavy as I am. Like he's not small, dude.
Huh. Well, hopefully y'all can get on up out of there soon. Because that sounds terrible.
Yeah,
Nobody likes being.
I'm painting it like, you know, everyone's against him and stuff. It's not like that. It's more like people didn't have the right information in front of them. And over the course of the week, we made sure that they did have the right information in front of them. And things have improved. And we have a date in our future. And why, you know, we'll be home and gearing up for Adepticon. We talked to Arthur today. And like he's excited as shit having the whole gang together in one place for Adepticon. So Adepticon.
Oh, nice.
Long
It's
War
happening?
Doubles, the whole crew, dude.
Okay.
So we're looking like it's gonna be fucking sick, dude. But that's our update. Rob, did you assume the mantle of the gin for today? Do you want to do a would you rather?
I did. I did. This is more directed towards you, obviously, given the current situation.
The configuration of the show.
Yeah.
And
And
chat.
I've done my time at bowls. Trust me. Some in the past week or so. But would you rather go to the doctor or the dentist?
Damn.
Yeah.
I know I'm good. Like I know going to the dentist is not a problem for me. Like everything's, I think my shit's fine.
Yeah.
So that's easy. That's easy. Slide in, they do a cleaning and exam, slide out. Like no problems. But I kind of have to go to the doctor because I haven't had a physical in like 10 years, dude.
Ooh, you're that age too.
And I'm 40. So
Yeah.
they're putting their fingers in my butthole.
Yeah, I had to do that whole like the poo test. recently. The poo, they call it the poo box. Yeah, if you had to
I
get one of
always poop
those.
in a box. So what's different about this? What's going on here?
Oh, you send it into them.
You poop at home and mail them a poop?
Yeah.
I've been doing that as a gag for years. I didn't realize that
No.
was just how medical. That's just medicine
Yeah.
now.
That's a procedure now.
Holy shit!
Yep. That's the whole thing.
So I'm torn because I'd kind of rather go to the dentist because I don't want the poop box situation. I don't like. I'm
That's
40,
actually
so you know what's next. You know, like I haven't had a physical in 10 years. They're going to tell me everything's horrible. I don't want to hear that
hmm
shit. They're going to tell me the same things they've been telling me for the last. Every time I've seen a doctor for any reason, for the last as long as I've been an adult, it's been lose weight, fatty. That's been the prognosis for all medical for me.
You know, something to be said for that.
Yeah, I'm getting tired of it. But I've been told this shit straight faced from like a morbidly obese nurse before. Like, you know the irony of that?
I had a similar conversation with actually the dental hygienist. We were talking and we go to the same endocrinologist, and she was a little bit larger. She had a thyroid issue, and she was like she was like, yeah, I just couldn't take advice from the endocrinologist because he's overweight too. And you know, he was like telling her basically the same thing, and he's like sitting there, obviously should be taking some of his own advice,
Oh,
probably.
I mean, it's a straight a fat ass telling a fat ass to lose weight is irritating.
Yeah.
Like, so that's the situation I'm in. I'm like, really, dude? Like,
It's like, it's just, it's like, would you take fitness advice? Like if you're fit,
no.
if your health trainer was like,
Personal trainers got to be jacked. Facts.
gotta be jacked,
That's facts. I'm not paying a
gotta
dude to
be,
make. I'm paying a dude to get me jacked because he's jacked.
I want to see muscles that I didn't know existed.
Yes. I want. Yes. So I want
Yes.
all doctors to be like movie star handsome, fit. Garrett says, just do what me and Rob did and stop eating wheat. See, that's interesting because you know what actually what I'm really irritated about? So like I'm moving toward an answer to the question. But my ultimate irritation is that the doctor always tells me to lose weight. It's always
Yeah,
been the thing, right? Like,
that's always the thing.
but I'm always like, okay, how?
Yes.
Right? How? I'm like, it's funny because this is clearly a nonsense. Like, you don't care about this. Like, which is fine. You don't care about me because what you care about is your job. What you care about is making money. Like, you have a paycheck and you need that money to buy groceries and have a house and stuff. Like, so ultimately, I don't matter. Like, I'm not even mad about that fact. You know, you're not going to deviate from a script or be even remotely controversial. Like, your job is more important than me. Got it. But if I was like sick from COVID or sick from blah or blah or blah, you would tell me, you would give me a prognosis, a diagnosis, a regimen. You tell me what to do. You tell me how many times a week to do it. You would outline my entire treatment for me. And you send me home with documents and shit. But
Yep.
you're over here talking about lose weight, fatty. And I'm like, how? Right. And they might hit you with like what Garrett said, like, you know, you consider cutting out wheat or carbs or anything. I'm like, yeah, but like, write it up for me, dude. Walk me through it. Like, where's like, you just tell me like, yo, go lose weight, bro. Like that's not real. That I think that it irritates me because like, think about how many people in the like have problems losing weight and actually have issues, and they're receiving this information with nothing else, like nothing. Like if he was like, okay, like if he cared about you, he diagnosed you overweight. That's a doctor's job. I'm diagnosing you, right? You're overweight, so we need to lose that weight. Here's how I recommend for you. You've been my patient for X amount of time. I'm your primary care physician. I know your body, I know your thyroid situation, everything. So here's what I want you to do, right? And here's my, you know, care course for you right here. Just straight up. I want you to start by walking around your neighborhood. I want you to do like at least 2 laps around your neighborhood, you know, 3 times a week. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. I want you to do this this plan. I want you to do this for 6 weeks, and then we'll see me again, and then we'll move on from there. Right? Like, I don't even want you to change your diet. Just do it. You just focus on one thing at a time, right? Like, do this 6 weeks. We'll see you. We'll see you again. No, don't do none of shit. Don't give a fuck, dude. You're fat. Lose weight. Get out of my office. Next. That shit pisses me off.
I could definitely see that, because that is kind of the catch all, I think, in a lot of cases.
Yeah, Shuey says it's all calorie counting. Like, I know, dude, but like, doctors don't say that shit, and they don't tell you what even that means. That's like, think about how vague that is as a diagnosis and solution for a medical problem.
Yeah.
Think about that, Shuey. Like, oh, I've diagnosed you as chronically overweight. It's all calorie counting, fatty. Go count some calories. How's that going to help this dude? Now he has to go on a research journey. He has to go on fucking Google. He has to figure it out. Like, the whole reason I'm here is that, like, the guy's telling me what to do. He's looking at my vitals. He's looking at my metabolic panel. He's telling me what I need to do.
Yep.
Like, I got to this place because Google and figuring things out has not worked for me. So, like, I have to Google how to lose weight, but I'm not allowed to Google fucking WebMD to see if, like, fucking I have cancer. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, you don't think about that. Like,
yeah. They don't like that self-diagnosis.
Yeah, so the stiff neck studio, if that's what MDs train for, stop fucking handing out the diagnosis. Refer me to a specialist. You know what I mean?
Yep. Just getting in anywhere these days is rough.
But as Shuey said, I've had tons of doctors tell me exactly what Shuey said. Like, I need you to lose 15 pounds. Like, I've had doctors straight give me a number of weight of like to lose. It's like, so you're giving me an assignment with no protocol. That's like handing me these pills and saying, take all of these pills by the time I see you, with no other fucking guidance. You know what I mean? It's like, bro.
Yep.
So I'm irritated, but I guess I would pick doctor.
Yeah.
Because I have not had a physical in 10 years, and I need someone to put their fingers in my butthole.
I mean, you can get that at Circle K, bro.
I do, but that's different. That's not medical.
That's not medical?
No.
That's just some rando.
It's just a guy. Sometimes it's a different guy. Not always the same guy.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
Stop eating. You know, that's another thing I've done since I've been here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, bro, I've eaten more Taco Bell than I've eaten in the last 20 years in 2 weeks.
Oh, is that bad?
I feel like it's not good for you. I don't feel good.
I don't feel
I don't feel good, man.
How dare you bemoan the authentic Mexican cuisine?
I don't feel good. Like, I feel kind of bad. I feel kind of tired, you know, like lethargic. Like,
yeah.
waking up in the middle of the night with acid reflux. Like, what's wrong with me?
Too much south of the border. Got to wean yourself off that. I think we got a donation we might have missed too.
I gotta call it out.
Well, I don't know the username, but it's a Scott. We'll say Scott threw us 25 bones.
Probably my man Recoil.
Oh, okay.
I don't have any on-screen shout outs.
Oh, right.
Shout out to Recoil. Thank you for your support, brother.
Because we're on the yes, thank you. We'll be very irresponsible with it. 100%.
That's right. Get Baja blasted this flex. That's what happens after Taco Bell.
Everybody knows this.
Yeah, it's like, you're in Texas. They have real Mexican food. I've had it. It's not been only Taco Bell.
Just mostly.
Just a lot of Taco Bell.
Got that Torchy's place there in Austin, man. Torchy's is good.
Is that Taco Bell?
It's better than Taco Bell.
Sick. Let's go. Zenro says, Four Loko and Taco Bell is a combo made in Hades. So let's move along. Rob says he's got lots of new news. New news.
It's not the same thing.
It's kind of like saying do. I do new news.
Or duty. Duty.
My mom taught me anytime you would say, I do that, you know, that you could always just use one do and it always works. incentive structure. There's never a situation where I do something is needed. That's why you don't have to say it. Just say, I do that. I do that.
That.
Like, doesn't matter what it is. Like, it's like, huh? I've been saying doo for years.
Man, you didn't have to.
I didn't have to. You know how many times I got made fun of for saying doo?
Probably not as much as we should have.
Let's go.
We got some releases from Games Workshop, which is nice. I guess this is the final wave of Leviathan breakdowns are hitting the streets here in 2 weeks. I guess the first week of March. So the Ballistus Dreadnought, that one sprue ETB kit, will be $70. The Infernus Squad is $60 for 10 Infernus Marines that I don't think I've ever seen anybody actually play with on the table, but maybe one day we'll see them, I suppose. The Lost in the Warp Captain and Terminator armor, the multi-part one, will be $42. And a little bit of a puzzling price for Kill Team Eldari Blades of Cain, the Striking Scorpions. It's 10 of them for $75. Now this is a Kill Team box, but it's either the worst or the best Games Workshop deal in the history of ever, because it's either the worst deal because they're going to be a squad of 10 when they come out, which means that they're basically pushing the average squad price up to $75, which is terrible to think about because that's almost $100. Or this is the best deal ever because both the Dark Reapers and the Howling Banshees are $60 for 5. So in theory, it's $50 cheaper than it should be when they're sold separately. I don't know which one it's going to be personally, but I can tell you one thing: that is the most expensive Kill Team box.
Somebody just donated in the background because one of my other layers in OBS just took us to Suplex City.
Yeah.
So while you were talking, people were treated to my Suplex City soundbite.
I think they donated to you.
Or maybe rated.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe it was rated. I have no alerts up.
We are alone and afraid. Maybe quite possibly naked.
I don't even have, well, I'm definitely naked from the waist down. But I don't even have like an overlay. Like this is just like a screen cap of a Zoom call. Like this shit is straight soup kitchen.
You did tell everybody this was a soup kitchen.
This is the mobile soup kitchen right here.
Well, I don't see a bunch of comments. So if this was a raid, maybe we'll hear from him in a minute.
And just so anyone who's listening to this podcast on their way to work who heard this like rap song in the background just now.
Oh, you and your rap songs, Kenny.
I know. It was a raid, apparently.
It's a raid. There you go.
The Poninator said it's a raid.
I like that name.
Yes, I also like that name. It's top tier. It's like Poner Boner.
You don't have to say do twice. You can just say one do.
Mm-hmm. Or news once.
It's true. New news.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's either the best or the worst Games Workshop deal. I guess the jury is still kind of out on that one. The Space Marine Scout Squad, those Primaris duders, are $65 for 10, which is a little bit more than normal when it comes to normal Primaris squad size. So perhaps there is a price increase in our future. It's really hard to say at this point. And then when it comes to the first Legion Imperialis expansion book, The Great Slaughter, where it has rules for playing games of Legion Imperialis with just Titans fighting Titans. It's wild. It's almost like they had a game, just Titans fighting Titans. You didn't have to buy a $50 book.
You talking about Titanicus?
That would be a cool name for it if that was the real thing. Maybe Adeptus Titanicus. Man,
Adeptus Titanicus sounds like a name of an awesome game.
Yeah.
What would it be? What would it be about?
Maybe you could have Titans fighting Titans and like little baby knights maybe running around. And it can be out for like 5 years and then then they could, crush everybody's dreams and kill it and fold it into another game. And then for the very first expansion, come out with rules for Titans fighting Titans.
Sounds like a big.
I just made that a whole soundbite.
That's good. It's
I just recorded that shit.
I will never not be sour about that at all.
Rob is going to be eternally disappointed.
Dude, I'm not the only one that thinks this is complete bullshit. There's whole threads on Twitter about it. They're
This
like,
is
wait.
complete bullshit.
It's just like, what? You literally paywalled. You blew up a game. You made it in part of another game, and then the very first paywall you come out for that game is to play the old game. Like, all right, you win, GW. You just got it. You just get it. Like, you just get it. All right, you win. I will never not be bitter about that. And it's just, at least I can smile about it. Anyways, still get a chuckle out of it. So the rest of the Legion Imperialis units are all coming out. Spartan assault tanks, Malcadors, the Legion Astartes support squad. Well, it's not really a squad; it's just a bunch of different units, and also Solar Auxiliary support squads. They're all $50. So it seems like so far all the units out of Legion Imperialis are $50 each, which kind of makes sense. That seems to be about their treat box price there, give or take. So I think overall pricing, it's not too bad this week. I mean, it's just a big question mark about the whole kill team thing, and I think people are still waiting on the next 40K releases to come out. A lot of people are like, "Yo, where are the orcs at?" But like, we haven't even got the rest of the Dark Angels yet. So I would imagine that we're going to see the Dark Angels here, the rest of the release, very soon. And then we'll kind of run into the orc release. There's also Tau. There's also Custodes. But remember, the outlier of the final release of Custodes, Sisters, and the Unnamed Faction is the end of summer 2024, which technically is September. So, in theory, by September, we will have over half the factions of 40K should have Codex books. But between now and then, there's 6. So it's basically like, what month is this? The second month.
It's like
9.
March now. I don't know.
So we probably won't see a big 40K release, like all of the stuff, about every month and a half. If you time it out, that's probably the spacing, give or take, on all of these 40K releases. So there is a lot of stuff out there. We do know kind of what's coming, but it's kind of on it's spaced out. Like GW is spacing stuff out, and they kind of had to tell in their listing for a CFO that it's not about, basically what they said in there, to put it in layman's terms, is it's not about how much money they make or they generate, their sales. It's about how much money they actually make to show profit. Like, they are all about the profit. So yeah, everybody, we hear this all the time, and I've said it before. I'm like, I don't understand why they can't, restock this, and this. But to them, they don't care, because the shit they are making,
Well, they showed profit, so they don't want to manipulate that. Is what you're saying?
They're good. So they are on this like path of, hey, we're just going to put out the stuff that we know is going to win. We're going to splash in some MTOs because we got 6 months to make that. We know what our margin is there. We're going to work it in, and it's all going to be gravy for us. While other people like Asmodee just posted super losses on board games and stuff like that. You got Hasbro literally lost over $1 billion last year. Think about that. Like, Wizards of the Coast, Magic specifically, profited. I think the growth was around 5%, but Dungeons and Dragons dragged them down to about 1%. And then the rest of the Hasbro business unit, toys, they sold off some video game online stuff, but the rest of the Hasbro business unit, so basically your core Hasbro, lost over $1 billion. Like everybody's laying everybody off. Everybody is hurting right now. And GW is like, yo, we're just going to make profit on what we put out. But like, it's kind of ingenious when you start thinking about it.
Yeah, actually, I'm like, huh. You're basically saying I'm not going to overproduce under any circumstances.
And we know, we've talked about it. I literally showed you the proof of them overproducing.
Yeah, dumpster wars. Like literally, at this point, the scarcity isn't even like forced because there's evidence of like, well, when we made a bunch of stuff so you all can have it, we ended up putting it in landfills.
Yeah.
And we can't guess what you're going to be totally into, you know. So from the business perspective, it's like we make exactly our margins and we show that to our fucking shareholders, and therefore we keep being a business and not losing $1 billion.
And not losing $1 billion because they don't make
$1 billion first off.
They actually said some other stuff in their in their finances. They basically said that they have enough money in the bank to weather any storm. They said they had 3 months worth of bills, you know, to pay all their bills no matter what. So like, you know, if there's another pandemic or something like that.
A bill is also is payroll.
Right, payroll.
That's your number one expense as a business. So that they're saying is they can keep people employed for 3 months.
Yep.
That's a pretty big deal. They have.
And remember, they gave back the COVID money to England. Like England gave out, you know, hey, here's some.
Yeah, they did like SBA loans and stuff, and
yeah,
equivalency SBA loans.
Yep. So yeah, that's definitely something to remember. So orcs, yeah, they're on the way. We just got to get through Dark Angels first. We'll probably see them at some point. They also announced new Age of Sigmar boxes. It looks like they're converting over the Vanguard box sets to what they're calling spearheads. No idea on the actual MSRP, but the values in there are all over the place, which is kind of weird. So I'm wondering if each one of those is going to be not a set price, but a variable price out there. So we'll kind of see what happens there. Pop Goes the Monkey put out some alternative Wolfen models. So they had some, what do you call it, is werewolf cavalry, which were larger, like demon prince size, kind of werewolf looking things. So now they're scaled down to more of a Primaris / well, not really Primaris. They're bigger than that. They're a wolf in size, like space wolves. They look great. So they got those over on the site. If you've been waiting for that, it's actually pretty cool looking. If I played Space Wolves, I would definitely go with that over maybe some of those current Wolfen models, especially because none of the weapons matter anymore when it comes to all that. If you missed Hero Quest, I know it's been Hero Quest has been out there for a while since the Kickstarter. It is 50% off now on Amazon. So it's like $66, I think. Now there is a 2 to 4 week lead time because I don't have confirmation of this, but it's basically made to order because why else would you need 2 to 4 week lead time unless it was coming from overseas? But I guess Hasbro's got it figured out. So just kind of keep that one in mind right there. It might be worth picking up if you haven't gotten it already. Space Marine 2, the video game, scheduled to come out in September, but they just put out the 2 more editions of it. So there's the gold edition, which comes with some pre-release content, some DLC. Also, you get it 3 days early. But they said something weird in there about a season pass, and they didn't elaborate on it. So a season pass can kind of be anything these days, you know, from you know, kind of one-off content that you get for a block of time, or it can be like a subscription, monthly subscription, all sorts of different things. So it was a little weird that they didn't elaborate on that and they just kind of threw it in. But some of the bigger versions of the game, you don't get that. So just if you're thinking about picking up this game, because I'm sure a lot of people are, because it was dope, like when it came out on Xbox 12 years ago or whatever, 14 years ago, just kind of look into it because, you know, if well, none of us need another subscription, let's be honest. In this economy, We don't need it. So just be on the lookout for that one. And if it's a value, it's a value. It's great because a lot of times you buy this, it helps out the studio, and if there's actual, 3 or 4 of these and it's curated content and it's like themed, that's always dope. But in a lot of cases, it's done poorly. Just as another revenue stream for the studios, which is a little unfortunate. Also, speaking of video games, a bunch of images for the rumored Call of Duty Warhammer crossover leaked today, showing like Space Marines, all manner of near future weaponry and skins and things for the actual game. So it looks like it's really happening.
What?
Judging by the images. So the pics were pretty wild.
Fuck yeah.
So if there's one thing I've learned about Warhammer mainstream video games, I guess stuff like Dawn of War, and if they do have a crossover with Call of Duty or even World of Tanks, really, it brings more people into the hobby in general. So that is going to be a good thing, I think, overall. So I'm definitely excited for that. A couple other things I wanted to mention. Monument Hobbies put out a texture trainer to kind of help you with learning some paint techniques and things like that. So check that out. It's a really cool looking bust. I guess it's not technically a bust. Oh, do you? They're pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Mantic put out their Epic Warpath game, which is, well, it's basically, large scale battles. It's epic, but their version of it for Warpath. It's already at $170,000 on Kickstarter. I think the 5th faction is unlocked at 200,000. So hopefully that will happen relatively soon. It was funded pretty quick, so seems like there's a lot of interest in it, which is always good to see. And Two Thin Coats Kickstarter 3 will be going live on the 20th, which is in 5 days. So if you love you some Duncan, there will be some opportunities on there, of course, to get some new paints, but also to pick up the old paints.
Stood behind him in line at Starbucks in Vegas.
Yeah. It looked like every image I saw of their booth was pretty packed. So seems like there's definitely still some interest in there for those paints. And then I guess we can kind of get into the take a break and get into the meat and potatoes, like GW actually doing good things, question mark.
Oh yeah, that's right. So let's hear from take a quick commercial break, hear from some sponsors, and then we'll have Rob walk us through the game state. BaronofDice.com, the official dice sponsor of the Long War podcast. Use promo code LongWar5 for 5% off. If you're looking for a superior dice manufacturer, then look no further than Baron of Dice. Custom artwork, faction representation, and crisp razor edge square dice. Remember to use promo code LongWar5. Again, that's BaronofDice.com, the official dice sponsor of this podcast.
For the best game aids and peripheral tools for wargaming, check out our friend J15Games.com. From wound counters and dials to faction rule trackers, these are the coolest tools out there. Designed to be functional and intuitive, these tools help you stay organized and speed up your game. Their flagship product, the Nesting, Movement, and Combat tool, is absolutely amazing. A magnetized measuring widget that splits into 3 different size tools for every situation. And you can get it in 8 different colors. J15 also offers custom ordered dice trays made from hardwood and leather. Check them out at j15games.com. That's j15games.com.
And we're back. Rob, I want to know all about your competitive journey into 40K.
I want to know how much wild sound you need.
I got enough.
Okay.
Without that, it becomes impossible to fund the break.
Yeah, no, I understand. You gotta see the levels. So I was able to get a couple of games in with the new data slate, and kind of impressed. so far with it. I think, I think GW going back and fixing, or not even fixing, but readdressing the changes to Custodes, or the nerfs, and also knights. They didn't even like invert it. They're not like, oh, we went too heavy handed. Let's roll it back. They kind of switched it up a little bit, but still gave a bit of benefit to players, right? Same thing with knights. And I was actually trying to convince a knight player of this. I was like, no, I think knights actually got better. And they're like, blah blah blah. No, I can't hit on twos. I mean, I did get a better reroll. I was like, yeah, and I was like, and you can fit a new baby knight, where they took a baby knight away, and now you can fit it back, right? And they're like, yeah, I guess so. I'm like, okay. So, I don't know. Like, I feel like knights got better, but not to where they were, and Custodes got better, but not back to where they were.
So, is it a nerf or is it a buff?
Well, what do you call it when you get back? You change something for the worse, because obviously you could make the argument that knights and Custodes both got worse because they went from towards the top to basically at the bottom, but now they're trying to get them back to the middle. So what do you call that?
So, I mean, they fixed it
Yeah.
because in their situation, they accidentally nerfed them.
Yes.
That was like accidental. And this deliberately is a fix.
I think it's a correction, maybe not like a fix, because it seems like they're still tinkering with Eldar. They were afraid to turn Eldar the knob all the way, but they did it with other factions. So they've been slowly turning Eldar towards toning them down without having to ratchet them back, which I don't personally get. Maybe there's some science there. Maybe they have too many variables. I don't know. I personally still won't play an Eldar player because I just kind of play for fun, and it just doesn't. I was like, I don't see how I'm in any scenario I'm going to have fun playing against an Eldar army.
Fuck Eldar.
I mean, it's just like, hey man, you got another army, like. So, I mean, yeah, I'll switch I'll switch armies. You want to play? I don't really care. I just don't want to play that because it doesn't feel like, you're going back and forth with them, and that's what playing is to me. Like, yeah, there's going to be a winner and a loser, sure, but it's about, engaging and with your opponent and things. So if you're going to be there for 3 hours, you might as well have a good time, right?
Yeah, it's difficult to have fun against an army that perceivably plays the game differently than the rest of us.
Yeah. And I can see why people, early on there was a lot of hate against knights because knights kind of did the same thing. Oh, well, they can always see you. They can basically shoot right through the table all the way across, which I didn't feel like was the right way. And I never played them like that. And then the whole, like, you get to reroll everything, that just seemed a little over the top. So, like, yeah, I get it, but they've been on their journey, and now they're on their redemption tour. But I don't feel like Eldar have had that journey yet in 10th personally. Whereas other armies just have had a rough go. And then you got Votann that's just like all over the place spectrum wise, like up down, up down, up down, like these huge spikes. And everybody just bought into Votann in like October. So, I mean, overall, I just think they did the right thing by trying to adjust these lists instead of just leaving them or just flipping them back, like flipping the switch on and off. They kind of tweaked it back to try to creatively get it back to a place where you could be engaging and interact with your opponent still, but not be overpowered. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we saw some of that today, actually, with this Age of Sigmar. That they call it the Battle Scroll. It's the balanced data slate for Sigmar. Whereas they did very similar things for the armies, and they didn't. Instead of nerfing rules, they just made the underperformers kind of cost less, which was kind of cool to see too. Whereas, you know, if an army wasn't doing as well, you could get more of them now. And some of that top lists like Caradon Overlords, which have just traditionally broken all the rules in Sigmar, they did specifically address them, but also some of the stuff is more expensive. So there's some outliers still, but it seems like the rules team on both sides are really coming up with more creative ways to attempt to balance the factions and get them, you know, right in that little grouping of, you know, 50, 55 to 45% win rates at events, I think.
That's important. So like ever since the balance, you're experiencing like balance in most categories. But
I think so. And I think the data will shake out more on 40K because a lot of the events over the weekend were the kind of a mixed bag on old rules, new rules. But I think this week we'll start to see more of the events be just new balanced data slate, you know? But some of the stuff that I think they did right, besides that, was obviously the points. And I think we talked about this a little bit last week, but the Munitorum points update, they actually went through and made it very easy to see what points changes there were. You know, green, red notations, up, down. Like if you didn't understand that red means that went up, there was a little up arrow next to it, you know? Like how many years? Yeah, red bad. How many years have we been saying that, dude? Like 5?
Like their graphic design department is on point. Like since this release, like down to like how they design stratagems. You know, like visually making sure things are digestible has been great this edition. You know, I think it's great. Like I agree with all the point changes. I'm like, yep, this makes sense. This is what the whole point of it is. This is a patch, right? Like it's like, okay. And it looks like they're dialing it in more and more and more and fixing unintended consequences of previous patches. Because that always happens, right? This patch breaks some other thing. Oops, got a hot fix.
Plus we got the first balanced data slate in September. And that was probably the quickest they've ever addressed any issues. Like for a new edition.
That's true. Like you said. Like that's absolutely worthy of notation. Yeah, it's crazy because like the army I just played at LVO, which I loved and did well with, changed, but I don't care. Like I like the way it changed. I'm like, these are all things that seem too good. Like I was leaning on these, you know, like, and they cleaned up some of those interactions. Now I'm looking at new interactions. I love that. I love like being put in a mindset where I'm looking to the new, you know, fucking scheme, you know, like I don't like finding something that works and then being like, this is it, guys, I've reached the end, you know, I'm just going to do this one thing now. That irritates me. So from just like for having fun on a personal note, like I love it when they mix shit up, but they've been dialing it in though. It's been way better than it has ever been before. Like,
yeah, I agree. And I think a lot of, you know, when we talked about some of the factions that were upset with the balanced data slate, you know, like World Eaters, obviously some of the stuff in there is a little exploitative, I feel like. And that's unfortunate, you know, because it's cool to see melee armies on the table doing melee things or threatening to do melee things. But, you know, I think at the end of the day, they probably needed the changes they got. And I know, you know, if you If you picked up World Eater since 10th because of the way the rules were, yeah, you're gonna be butthurt. But if you picked up World Eaters in 9th because they're dope and you've been waiting for it, you're probably like, I'll find a way to win with them.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's what's interesting about a ninth in general. Seems like if you play the missions, you should be focusing on learning the missions more than anything, honestly.
yeah,
Like, I fucking won games where I basically got tabled. Like,
yep,
so focus on playing the missions and moving your chess pieces around more than anything. And make informed decisions based on how you would play this mission. Like, if you look at a mission and you're like, damn, that would be hard for me, what would make it not hard for you?
Mhm.
Put that in your army. Then you flip the page, you're like, well, now this mission will be hard. Make the adjustment while thinking of the previous one. You know what I mean? Then before you know it, you kind of have an army that can kind of do it. So it's really oversimplified, but that's how my brain is a simple engine. Like, it's very simple. I don't got schemes. Like,
and I think that's one of the things I like most about playing Custodes, is because for me, when I'm playing them, if I draw a mission or a secondary rather, that I'm like, oh, I can't do this. I'm just like, whatever. I was gonna get rid of one of these, whatever, for a kill point or for a CP anyways, because everything Custodes do is 2 CPs. So like, if I don't have 2 CPs, I kind of feel naked with Custodes. Like, I'm like, I need my 2 CPs, because not only not for me to always have to do something, but for my opponent to look over and be like, what am I going to do? I know he's got those 2 CPs there. What's he going to spend them on? Is he going to strike first? Because I've done shit like that with a squad of 5 guard and swung first for free and taken out Angron, you know, and or am I going to save him because I'm going to, Angron's going to come in and maybe I'll play the reduce 1 damage, which I wouldn't, but his attacks are way more than 3 damage. But, well, depending on which one he does. But I think making your opponent also consider like, oh, well, what's he going to do with those CPs? So I guess I'm really hoping that Custodes play very similar when they do eventually get their codex this summer to how they're set up right now, because I feel like they're really fun to play and have a lot of options out there, and a lot of intricacies that sometimes folks don't see. So they're fun for me to play.
yeah, I can see that, man. I feel the same way, man. I'm stoked. I think I haven't heard any bad things. I think everyone's pretty happy right now, like it's a healthy game system.
Yeah, it's kind of in a shocking place. I mean, Eldar or the outliers aside, which there aren't that many anymore, the game itself is in a very good place, right? And I think the only big question mark in a lot of events might be, hey, what FAQ are we running, right? Are we doing the WTC, or are we doing the GW or the ITC, which is basically the same thing now, right? And I think that's the thing, is having every event on board with the same idea. Because you remember when we used to go to all these events and every event had a different FAQ? Like those days were so frustrating, because you'd have to study up and then you might have to change your list. And now we really only have 2 FAQs out there, and they're both good. So I guess we're kind of spoiled in that regard, but realistically, if we're that close, like why don't we just make it all one FAQ, right? I don't feel like that's
It's a lot. Yeah, I
out
mean,
of the-
it's an interesting point that I would make as we conclude this is that I like that we're kind of achieving more one togetherness now as a
Mhm.
community, but simultaneously, like something that's always been an issue has been the adversarial nature of like uh, East Coast, West Coast, like not just those coasts. That's an analogy, like creating a turf war that doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? Creating like
Yeah.
this, like us versus them mentality has always been a part of like everything, as far as I can tell. But it's more,
Yes.
it's worse now than ever before, with things like, you know, like I mean, I'll sound like a boomer, like the internet, but back in the day, we didn't. It wasn't quite as bad because we didn't have all these like Facebook groups and Reddits, and we had like self-contained blogs and forums. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people would just have opinions about, you know, like a terrain layout, for example, or an event, and they kind of just like kept it to themselves and just went and played and had fun. And now it's got to be, which team are you on? And so the current situation, you know, between like layout, GW layout, and like player placed, right? This is a great example where I see people asking all the time. People have asked us about doing the long war doubles. They're like, you should do GW layout, things like that. Like, I've got friends of mine who are like, I'm just not going to play until I'm not going to play anymore, you know, frontline gaming style events, and you know, because it's, you know, I don't want to play player place. It's just wasting time, you know, like very like declarative shit. I'm just like, damn, interesting. So like, what the internet is doing right now, like the way Reddit works, the way everyone's like got to funnel into this opinion, is all they're doing is robbing themselves of fun. That's all you do.
Yes.
That's it.
100%.
Back in the day when we were like, oh, we're gonna go to the Air Force Academy GT, we're gonna go to the Genghis Khan GT. We would just like look at the mission packet because they all had their own missions. Be like, ooh, these missions are wild. So who fucking typed this shit up? And be like, yo, this is ugh. Okay, I better bring something different, like because what I've been doing isn't working. Which is probably why they typed it that way, because they like got bad touched by some OP combo, you know. And then,
Bad touch.
and then you're like, ooh, and I also know that notoriously the terrain is shit up there, so I better not bring any units that rely on line of sight blocking. You know what I mean? Like you would just look and be like, okay, I got it. All right, I see you, dog. And you bring a different, like you roll with that punch and you go have fucking fun. And we went to every event. We did not go to events because of terrain layouts and fucking missions and FAQs. You just read that shit and you made an informed decision and went and still enjoyed your hobby. So all motherfuckers are doing is playing themselves, Rob.
I agree.
You're playing yourself. If you refuse to play on GW layout or player place terrain, whichever camp you're in, you're playing yourself, man.
Yeah, I think just go have fun is
Go
the name of
fun.
the game.
Roll with the punch. Like straight
And
up.
there's
If player place terrain or incentivizes one style of play, bring some of that style in. If GW layout incentivizes a style of play, bring some of that style in. That's all that means, dude. We played this back in the day when every event was an island, dude. And I've never heard more bitching than ever in the history of the internet when it comes to the game state. When the game state is objectively better and measurably better in every way. But like everyone's whining about it more. Like it's more polarized than ever before. So where's this polarity coming from? Right? Like where's this? You know?
I don't know. I think it's just society right now.
Yeah. I mean, I know where it comes from, but like I'm just saying, like, guys, don't play yourselves. You can have
Yeah. Have fun.
you can have even more fun than you ever thought was possible if you just if you realize that the way, if you ever feel like outraged by, and that's even becoming a political term, if you've ever like read
Outraged.
rules about your army and been mad, like actually mad, like
Physically mad?
physically mad, like upset,
No.
like an actual reaction, that's been done to you, like that was done to you, like over the course of the last 20 years. Like, step out of that, man. Have fun. I'll play anywhere, anytime, any terrain layout, any fucking mission pack. Because ultimately what makes me happy is playing my game and having success with it. And I will maximize my success. You tell me the rules, I play the rules. Let's go. That's fun. So I think that the game is greater than it's ever been before at this exact moment. But I see more polarizations than ever before.
Yeah.
Just a comment. That's right. Recoil, haters gonna hate.
Heard that in a song once.
But
Might have been a Super
I think
Bowl.
the internet is turning people into haters now. Like it's like,
Yeah, I tend to agree. Gotta limit the old social media times to
I mean, it's
just
just like science.
work.
Love. Like somebody is mean to. If you're like just mean to a kid every day, that kid ends up mean.
Yeah,
Right? That's just like social, right there. Social experiment. If you know what I mean? Like people who are abused end up abusing, right? Like it's just like dog. Like this is like normal human conditioning. Like if the internet, if the way media is served to you is polarizing, you become polarizing. It's the same shit, dude. You know.
hmm
That's right. Zenru. I like what Zenru said. He said, "Play is gonna play."
true.
That's our. Yeah. Well, that was my final TED Talk moment.
That's good. I liked it. I've subscribed to that.
So to kick it back over to you. Want to take us out of here? I'm gonna link up with my man Wyatt. Somebody was just asking about him. This is about the time of night that I bring him dinner. It's a little later than normal, but that's to be expected.
Is it going to be Taco Bell?
I hope not. I mean, I say that, but like, I hope so.
Yes. Yikes. All right. Well, hopefully we'll see the podcast on YouTube tomorrow. If not, maybe Monday. Everybody bear with us if it's Monday. It'll be okay. Anyways, so that's it for this one. Make sure you head on over to thelongwar.net for exclusive content, early access videos, and more. Become a veteran of the Long War today.